This is Bob Ranquist from Boca Rio with an update on the golf course renovation work for this week. We want to give you a video tour of the first few holes that have been planted in the last few weeks. The 12th and 13th holes were planted with latitude 36 Bermuda grass 6½ weeks ago. As you can see, the turf is covering about 90 to 95% of the fairway and rough areas, and the turf canopy is beginning to quickly tighten and become more uniform. Fairways and roughs on holes number 11 and 14 were planted 5½ weeks ago and are coming along very nicely. The 7th hole and half of the 14th hole were planted 4½ weeks ago, and the stolons or runners on the new Bermuda grass plants on these holes are beginning to spread rapidly across thin spots, pegging roots into the ground and generating new latitude 36 Bermuda grass plants. The 8th hole was planted 3 weeks ago, and the new grass was mowed this week for the first time. The 15th, 16th, and 17th holes were sprigged with latitude 36 1 week ago, and the sprigs are greening up nicely this week. Rain showers throughout this week have helped accelerate the green up and growth of the new grass on all the areas that have been planted in the last few weeks. Holes number 5 and 6 will be planted this weekend, weather permitting. An additional sprigging machine has been brought in to help us finish planting fairways and roughs next week. With 2 sprigging machines, we can plant 2 to 2½ holes per day, allowing us to hopefully finish planting the last 7 holes at numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 18, and the practice range late next week. Hopefully, the forecast for drier weather next week will be accurate, and we can plant the new grass on the rest of the golf course as scheduled. Sodding of latitude 36 Bermuda grass on slopes around greens and greenside bunkers was completed this week. There are a few tee slopes and fairway bunker slopes that will be sodded early next week, completing the planting of latitude 36 Bermuda grass sod on the golf course. Teeing surfaces will be sprigged the middle of next week with Tiff Grand Bermuda grass. The practice tee will be sprigged with latitude 36 late next week. Sprigs will be applied at a heavier rate on teeing surfaces and the range tee to assure that these areas establish and grow in very quickly. Installation of drainage systems and the gravel layer for the better billy bunker liners was completed this week. Unfortunately, it rained too much through the week to permit spraying the binding polymer on the gravel layer in the remaining few bunkers. The spray technician that sprays the polymer checks the gravel layer before spraying to determine if the moisture level in the gravel layer is less than 16%, assuring that the polymer correctly binds the gravel together. We only need a couple of dry days next week to finish this polymer application process. Installation of the new irrigation system was completed on number 10 and the practice range this week. Installation on the last hole to be done at number 9 will begin this weekend and should be complete by late Tuesday. This will finish the irrigation system installation and startup and will leave only punch list items to be accomplished. Thank you again for your patience, support, and encouragement as we begin to work through the grow-in phase of our golf course renovation at Boca Rio.